Let us now understand how breathing occurs in human beings. First, we inhale air through our nostrils. This inhaled air passes into the nasal cavity. Here, the air is filtered and heated. From the nasal cavity, the inhaled air passes down the throat and enters the windpipe known as trachea. From the trachea, it reaches both our lungs, which are present in the chest cavity. This cavity is surrounded by ribs on both sides. These ribs form a cage-like structure called the rib cage. A large muscular sheet called the diaphragm forms the floor of the chest cavity. The rib cage and the diaphragm show movements during inhalation and exhalation. Once the inhaled air reaches the lungs, it enters tiny air sacs known as alveoli inside the lungs. Here in the alveoli, gas exchange takes place. That is, oxygen is exchanged for carbon dioxide. The oxygen in the alveoli travels into the bloodstream and is used up in cellular respiration. The carbon dioxide in the blood moves into the alveoli and is expelled out of the human body through exhalation.
Welcome back to science class. Today we are dealing with breathing. You know what is breathing? You already studied respiration in organisms, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So when we concentrate on ourselves, we know that we are breathing. That is, we are taking in air and giving out air. So taking in air, which is rich in oxygen, is known as inhalation. The next one is exhalation. That is giving out air which is rich in carbon dioxide. And this process is known as exhalation. Third point we have to study, that is breathing rate. The number of times a person breathes in a minute is known as breathing rate. For a breathing consists of two processes, that is inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation followed by exhalation is known as a breathing. So we breathe. While we are breathing, we take in oxygen and we'll give out carbon dioxide. So these are the process we have to study today. And the next one is about how human beings breathe. So next we can study about the process of breathing in human beings. We inhale oxygen-rich air. Thus, this air reaches nostrils and through the nasal cavity, through the windpipe, it reaches the lungs. So lungs is situated in the chest cavity and it is surrounded by ribs. These ribs can also expand and contract itself. And the floor of the chest cavity consists of a muscular diaphragm, a muscular sheet known as diaphragm. And what is happening exactly means, that is, when we inhale, during inhalation, the ribs will move up and diaphragm will move down. Ribs will move up and diaphragm will move down. That we can feel while we inhale. What is happening? The size of the ribs will increase in order to accept all the air which consists of oxygen, and diaphragm will move down. But exactly this opposite thing is happening during exhalation. Ribs will move down and diaphragm will increase. The size of the diaphragm will increase. That is, diaphragm will move up. And this is happening exactly in the case of the inhalation and exhalation. So when we exhale, carbon dioxide is going out. And this is the process of respiration or breathing in human beings. In this part of the video, we are going to study about the respiration in different kinds of organisms. That is, first one is cockroach, the second one is earthworm, and the third one is fish, and frog is there, and the last one is plants. So for the cockroach, it is not very familiar to you. Cockroach, that consists of small openings, and these small openings are called spiracles. Through the spiracles, air rich in oxygen enter, and there are a network of tubes which is used for the gas exchange is known as trachea. It's the main part of the respiratory organ of the cockroach. And the next one is we can see about earthworm. The respiratory organ of earthworm is its moist skin only. And for the frogs, I want to say that it has lungs. Along with that, through the moist skin also they will respire. So the frog can respire through the lungs and also through the skin. And what about the case of the fish? Fish will respire through gills. The gills is the respiratory organ of the fish. And the last one is plants. You know, in the case of the plants, plants will give out oxygen and they take carbon dioxide while making food, and it is taken by gas. But they also respire. They will respire at night, and through the stomata they will exchange gases. So these are the topic that is about the respiration in other organisms. So you have to remember the respiratory organ of earthworm, cockroach, fish, frogs, and of the plants. And thank you for listening to this class.